Today's news highlights. Date April 30, 2025. News highlights. During his first 100 days in his second term, U.S. President Donald Trump actively reshaped the international order, promoting hostage rescues, negotiations on the Russia-Ukraine war, tariffs on China, and a tough trade stance. He facilitated phone calls between the leaders of the United States and Russia, imposed steep tariffs on China to protect American interests, and tried to discourage allies from moving closer to Beijing. Trump stressed the importance of the U.S. market, pressuring the EU to increase energy purchases from the U.S. while trying to restore relations with the EU. In the future, he will continue to be a key figure in the global political and economic landscape. News highlights. At the end of the 2025 Canadian federal election, the Liberal Party, led by its new leader, Mark Carney, unexpectedly defeated the Conservative Party and formed a minority government, winning 165 seats, with about 43% of the vote. The election campaign focused on the economy, housing, and relations with the United States, and Trump's resumption of the trade war became a turning point in the election. Despite the impressive performance of the Conservative Party, which won record seats and votes, it still failed to govern. The New Democratic Party, NDP, and the Alliant political group declined, and the party leader resigned. In the future, how a small number of governments stabilize their governance and cope with diplomatic pressure will become a key test. News highlights. The United States imposes a high tariff of 145% on Chinese-made goods, which has raised concerns about Taiwan's origin washing. Legislator Wu Bingrong pointed out that Taiwan and the United States have different definitions of origin, which may lead to Taiwanese products being mistaken for Chinese-made. In response, the executive premier, Chuk Wing-tai, will adjust the standards through negotiations, and strengthen the product history and certification mechanism to maintain the credibility of Made in Taiwan and avoid Taiwan becoming the target of sanctions. News highlights. Morgan Stanley pointed out that thanks to the 90-day tariff exemption and AI-driven demand, PC shipments are expected to strengthen in the short term, and the market will grow by 3 to 5% for the whole year. DMO is optimistic about the defensive strength of 7 AI and cloud-related Taiwan stocks, including Weiying, Delta, Jingxiangdian, Wistron, Jias, Quanta, and Gigabyte, all of which are rated as outperforming the market and give a clear target price, showing its comparative advantage in the changes in the global supply chain. News highlights. Tong Zixian, chairman of Pegatron, said that the outside world is worried that TSMC's factory in the United States will cause the supply chain to move out, and TSMC's real competitiveness lies in the work culture and cadre group accumulated over the years, rather than a single technology. It is not easy for the United States to rebuild a complete industrial chain, and it is difficult for the work culture to be replicated, so it still needs to rely on Taiwan's support in the future. He stressed that real technology and culture cannot be simply transferred, and Taiwan is still the core. News highlights. Due to the revision of the tariff issue, investors took advantage of the situation to increase the layout of Taiwan stocks, pushing up the scale of the Yuanta Taiwan 50, 0050, ETF to exceed 500 billion yuan on April 29, setting a new record in the Taiwan ETF market. The legal person pointed out that since the beginning of this year, the net subscription has reached 135.5 billion yuan, and the number of investors and the number of regular quota households are the highest in the market. 0050 optimizes the expense ratio to 0.08% and splits it to enhance liquidity and long-term investment attractiveness. Site also reminds that investors in Taiwan stock ETFs should pay attention to the risks of the single market and should properly plan their capital investment. Have you considered buying ETFs in batches in the near future? News highlights. CAI Kongyang recently held a printmaking exhibition Everything Will Be Worth It in Daedeo Keng, showing the creative concept of conveying the power of calm with words. On the 22nd, he and a number of young muscular male models celebrated the birthday of their friends at the exhibition venue, and then walked around Daihua Street alone, visiting Yang'il Market, Ziyahai City God's Temple and Kwok Yi Mei bookstore to start a small cultural trip. He revealed that he visited bookstores because bookstores were becoming scarce, and he visited them and cherished them. The exhibition has been well received and will be extended to mid-July. News highlights. Uniqlo and GU both belong to the fast retailing group, and the biggest difference is in the brand positioning and product style. GU focuses on fast fashion, more affordable prices, young styles, keeping up with trends, and attracting young people. Uniqlo attaches great importance to quality and functionality, emphasizing the concept of lifewear, which is suitable for all ages to wear on a variety of occasions, and the clothing design is more classic and durable. News highlights. A former anchor surnamed Chen was accused of impersonating a journalist and occupying the Taipei City Council's press room for a long time, wearing slippers, watching TV, using an electric pot to heat food, and even taking people to talk about business, using the public space as a private lounge. Scoop denied that he was an employee, and the grassroots of the parliament questioned the cover-up by the high level, and the whole case is now being investigated and handled by the Journalists Association. News highlights. Hikayan, a well-known unboxing YouTuber Uncle Talks About Toys, was shocked to pass away on April 28, after he was accused of absconding with money, resulting in more than 300 consumers and a total loss of more than 3 million yuan. The company that took over alleged that it had collected the money but failed to deliver the goods, prompting a large number of buyers to prepare a class action lawsuit. The family confirmed the death and asked for privacy to be respected, but some of the victims were angry and disappointed by the unresolved dispute. News highlights 72-year-old veteran artist Liao Jun was recently reported to have suffered a third stroke, although he has now been out of danger and transferred to an ordinary ward to recuperate, but it has also brought housework disputes to the table. According to reports, he and his wife, who had been married for half a century, divorced as early as the end of last year, and his health has been poor for many years, and he relies on her female assistant Miss Yang to take care of her daily life. However, his son Lu Jinda was accused of having limited care for his father, and instead accused Miss Yang of stealing property, and was suspected of taking advantage of the heat to shoot pictures of his father's illness and rush traffic. News highlights internet celebrity Su Guan has recently attracted attention for his participation in Taiwan's recall action, but he was insinuated by internet celebrity Chen Yi that his appearance is not good. She generously responded that she was 47 years old, did not rely on her appearance to eat, and posted a selfie without a filter to show her confidence. Su Guan said that he has not flinched after being attacked by his appearance for many years, and insisted on speaking out for democracy, which was influenced by his predecessors in Taiwan independence. The background of the film is suspected to be a mansion on the shores of Lake Geneva, which has aroused heated discussions among netizens. She emphasized that she does not seek to be deified, but only wants to use influence to promote social change. News highlights: in order to investigate the Russian army's violence against civilians, Ukrainian journalist Roshchina lost contact after penetrating into Russian-controlled areas in 2023, and her body was returned in February 2024. She had the courage to denounce prison guards as occupiers, who had been tortured for more than 400 days and weighed 30 kilograms. The revelation of his death exposed the torture system of the Russian army, triggering a joint international media investigation into the Victoria Project, accusing Russia of systematic detention and violence against Ukrainian civilians. News highlights: former U.S. President Donald Trump said in an exclusive interview 100 days before his inauguration, claiming that the goal of his second term is to govern the United States and the world, and said that the prosperity of Taiwan, Japan, and South Korea is based on American sacrifices, and there is no need to apologize. He stressed that he would prioritize the protection of U.S. interests, was unconcerned about the decline in approval ratings, and was open to the possibility of seeking a third president. In addition, he praised Zuckerberg and Bezos, saying that they are closer to each other. News highlights today, April 30th, the weather in Taiwan is sunny and stable, and the day is hot. Tomorrow's Labor Day, May 1st, will be affected by the front, and the rain will increase in the north and northeast. There will be more moisture in the next few days, and there will still be multiple waves of fronts from Sunday, May 4th, to next week, with fast climate change and unstable weather, and a high chance of rainfall in various places. News highlights: variety show eldest brother Su Nailan revealed that his wife once said that he suddenly swung his fist in the middle of the night, and the doctor warned that this may be rapid eye movement sleep behavior disorder, which is related to the accumulation of alpha-synuclein in the brain, which may be an early warning sign of Parkinson's disease or dementia. The disease is common in people over 50 years old, and about 90% of patients may develop neurodegenerative diseases in the future. Doctors recommend that people with this symptom should undergo sleep check UPS and prevent neurodegeneration through regular exercise and good lifestyle habits. News highlights: Mr. Wang, a 56-year-old smoker for 30 years, recently had frequent coughing and wheezing when singing, and was found to have a 2 cm malignant tumor in the upper right lung, but fortunately it had not spread, and was successfully removed and discharged from the hospital after minimally invasive surgery. Doctors pointed out that there are no obvious symptoms in the early stage of lung cancer, and it is recommended that high-risk groups undergo regular low-dose computed tomography, LDCT, screening, which can help early detection and reduce mortality. Mr. Wang successfully quit smoking after surgery, his breathing improved, and he hopes to continue singing and enjoying life. News highlights: as the tax season begins, Yahoo stock market has compiled 5 tax payment cards for the public to budget. New Taishan Bank at GoGo card accounts bind designated payment instruments to enjoy up to 26% rebate, which is the most eye-catching. Shanghai Commercial Bank with digital account feedback of up to 15.5%, a single tax amount of more than 5 million will also give VIP room access coupons. The CITIC China Airlines CO branded card has a maximum of 1.7% rebate, which is suitable for mileage control. The upper limit of 1% of the federal bank's consumption feedback is 2,000 yuan, and the Jaihe card is increased. The maximum customer feedback is 200,000 yuan, which is suitable for high net worth groups. Choose the right credit card and earn back when you pay taxes. News highlights: Makio recently recalled the beating of a taxi driver incident that caused a sensation in the society in the Chiang podcast program, and described that he was drunk and out of control at that time, describing himself as if he had been sentenced to death by the society. She stressed that the driver was not in a coma, questioned the lack of key surveillance footage during the case, and mentioned that the other party had traveled abroad afterwards. Although some people think that the incident may have other hidden circumstances, most people still believe that the fact of beating people cannot be denied and they should be responsible for the behavior. News highlights Hwakyu has recently been well received for his role as the villain Scorpion in Jiao Today Kyaotu, and he was also found to have a stable emotional life outside the play, and a stable relationship with a woman with a bright temperament. Since October last year, she has been photographed inseparably many times, and the woman not only integrates into Hwakyu's circle of friends, chats with his friends very happily, but also often accompanies him to attend events and live broadcasts. Although there is no intimate physical interaction, the interaction naturally has a tacit understanding, and it is regarded by the outside world as a famous grass has a master. News highlights the 6 Kuomintang legislators in New Taipei have all been recalled by civic groups, and they have now entered the second phase of the final sprint. For example, Hung Mengkai, a legislator from Constituency 1, has crossed the legal threshold as of April 29 and has collected more than 50,000 signatures, which are expected to be sent to the election committee in early May. The recall group stressed that it would work with other constituencies to promote greater civic action. News highlights on April 29, the 100th anniversary of U.S. President Trump's inauguration, Secretary of Commerce Lutnick traveled to the TSMC wafer fab in Arizona to witness the groundbreaking of the third fab. Apple, Nvidia, and Chaoei executives also expressed their support. Lutnick emphasized that the visit underscores the Trump administration's commitment to push for the return of U.S. manufacturing. TSMC plans to invest $100 billion to create 40,000 construction jobs and tens of thousands of high-paying jobs, bringing more than $200 billion to Arizona over the next 10 years. TSMC Chairman Wei Zhijia said that the investment will strengthen the competitiveness of the United States in the fields of smartphones, AI, and high-performance computing. News highlights the Keelung District Prosecutor's Office investigated the death and CO signature case of Zheng Wenting, a city councillor from the recall of the Democratic Progressive Party, and detained Zhang Yuanxiang, the director of the Civil Affairs Department of the Keelung Municipal Government, Ji Wenquan, the leader of the recall case, and Zhang Jin of the Kuomintang. The judge ruled that Zhang Yuanxiang should pay 400,000 yuan on bail, and Ji and Zhang were detained and forbidden to see him. Zhang Yuanxiang admitted that he violated the personal data protection law and forged documents, because there was a risk of his accomplices not appearing in the case and colluding with witnesses, and the judge found that his detention was not necessary, and he was only restricted from residence. Ji and Zhang were detained and forbidden to see each other because of their serious suspicions and collusion of evidence. The case involved illegal use of personal data and forged documents, and the relevant evidence was sufficient. News highlights actress Makio recently broke the news on the Chestnut Gum podcast that Rainy Yang did not recognize anyone after she became popular, and pointed out that she had been indifferent to Makio's mother, and was even washed her face in public. In this regard, Rainy Yang clarified that this is a malicious rumor, and stressed that the right to legal prosecution will be reserved. Many of Rainy Yang's friends, including Wilbur Pan, Chen Yangzi, Zhang Kiwi, and others, have spoken out to support her. Soda Green's Wu Qingfeng also posted on social media, quoting the song Modern Image written by himself for Rainy Yang, alluding to these rumors as rootless nonsense and speaking for Rainy Yang. News highlights YouTuber CAIAGA received the news of her grandmother's death on the 25th, and because there was a major work turmoil to deal with at that time, she could not immediately return to Chi to deal with the aftermath, and was criticized by her cousin in the community, and caused netizens to reprimand. Afterwards, CAIAGA expressed through the video that due to the troubles caused by his relatives due to his long-term work, he was determined to resolve the misunderstanding this time and asked the outside world to stop abuse. 2 days later, GA May also posted on the community, frankly saying that grandma's death reunited the whole family to solve the misunderstanding, and reflected on her immaturity and evasive behavior. She thanked her brother for providing her home in Taipei, and revealed that she had chosen to leave her job due to anxiety. News highlights Hollywood star Jeremy Renner. Jeremy Renner recently revealed in his memoir My Next Breath that on New Year's Day 2023, in order to save his nephew, he was accidentally run over by a snow shovel, with more than 30 fractures, and his left eyeball even burst out. Renner described the scene at the time of the accident, hearing the sound of all his bones breaking, and in the pain he seemed to see his own life. His injuries included multiple fractures and internal injuries to his ribs, spine, tibia, lungs, liver, collarbone, and head. Renner once left a message on his mobile phone because of the severe pain, hoping that his family would end his life, but in the end, after multiple surgeries, he recovered quickly and did not regret his actions, saying that if he did not come forward at that time, his nephew might die. News highlights popular actor Su Peng was once popular on both sides of the strait for starring in dramas such as Let's Try the World and Yinian Guan Mountain, but he announced his retirement from the showbiz at the peak of his career. He admitted frankly that the unspoken rules in the entertainment industry made him unbearable, and he was changed due to force majeure factors after many auditions, so he decided to put down his star halo and return to his hometown to set up a stall to sell fruits and replace his elderly grandfather. Su Peng said that there is not only one way in life, he will accompany his family, and plans to open a company or do business in the future to regain the ordinary and beautiful life. News highlights: actress Ma Kyo recently broke the news on Kyang Kyung's podcast program that an actress whose attitude changed greatly after becoming popular was taken care of by herself and her mother before becoming famous, but she pretended not to know her mother after becoming popular. Cheong then guessed that the actress was Rainy Yang. Rainy Yang immediately refuted and said that this was an accusation made out of thin air, and the studio even issued a statement that it reserved the right to pursue legal action. Internet celebrity Chen Yi criticized Rainy Yang's company for being ignorant of legal issues, and recalled the unpleasant experience of working with Rainy Yang, revealing that she had an indifferent attitude back then, and once asked for a change due to clothing problems, which made everyone feel unhappy. News highlights: 72-year-old veteran actor Liao Jun was recently hospitalized for a third stroke, which caused conflicts with his family and long-term caregiver Yang Wenxi. According to reports, after Liao Jun's low-key divorce last year, he handed over important items to Yang Wenxi for safekeeping, including real estate deeds, bank passbooks, etc. However, Liao's family was unhappy with this and even accused Yang Wenxi of stealing. Yang Wenxi issued a statement saying that he had taken care of Liao Jun for 7 years, and signed an emergency consent form as the main caregiver as soon as Liao Jun suffered a stroke to help Liao Jun overcome the crisis. She stressed that instead of receiving thanks, she was falsely accused and legally threatened by her family, and said she was extremely stunned and saddened. Ms. Yang was confident that the law would prove her innocence and said she would not respond to the matter. News highlights: recently, the blue-green confrontation has intensified, and Zhu Lailun, chairman of the Kuomintang, asked the party's Democratic representatives to actively participate in the second phase of the Green Committee's recall, and include the results of this joint signature in the scope of evaluation, and will make public the performance of the Democratic representatives. The move sparked a backlash from some grassroots people's representatives, but KMT North City Councillor Chin Huizhou said that if there is still a backlash, it shows a lack of overall view of the current situation and a sense of responsibility to the party. News highlights: the Taichung District Prosecutor's Office investigated a case involving virtual currency fraud and money laundering, and seized the Afu Wallet app operated by Ace Company, with a cash flow of 300 million yuan. During the investigation, it was found that the investigator surnamed Xie of the Criminal Bureau leaked the victim's information to his girlfriend Chen Maihui to assist in the analysis and helped the fraud group freeze the funds. Investigator Xie was found to have leaked secrets and sentenced to suspend prosecution. Chen Maihui died of her injuries in a car accident on the way back to Taipei with her boyfriend, and conspiracy theories were ruled out. In the end, the founders of XREX, Xiaonan and Huangnan, pleaded guilty and suspended the prosecution for money laundering, and investigators Xia continued to investigate. News highlights: US President Donald Trump expressed his displeasure with Amazon's consideration of indicating the cost of tariffs in the price of his goods, and personally called founder Bezos to press. White House Press Secretary John Leavitt also criticized Amazon's move as hostile and politically motivated, and questioned why Amazon did not take similar action at a time when inflation was high. Subsequently, Amazon issued 2 statements to clarify, emphasizing that the idea was only an internal discussion, and that it would not be implemented if it was not approved. Commerce Secretary Lutnick also said Amazon's clarification was the right move. News highlights: according to the 2024 salary report released by the salary query platform By Salary, the average annual salary in Taiwan is 560,526 yuan, an increase of 2.7% from 2023. However, former private equity trader Asun pointed out that most people are not really feeling the wage growth, but the burden of price inflation is more obvious. According to his analysis, if the technology industry is deducted, the average annual salary in 2024 will actually decrease by 2.1% compared with 2023. Shareholder Asun also stressed that for many middle-aged people, switching to the technology industry is not a realistic option, but a big gamble for survival, and Taiwan's economic growth is more reflected in a small number of people. News highlights: in 2024, the University of Science and Technology, USR, has been promoting university social responsibility, USR, for many years, and has been deeply committed to agricultural innovation, environmental sustainability and social care, and has achieved new achievements in 2024, winning 3 awards at the Vision USR Awards, becoming the first in HUST. Through the Net Zero Carbon Inventory Cross-Domain Micro-Program and a number of USR projects, the school combines industry-academia cooperation and field implementation to cultivate professionals in carbon inventory and sustainable transformation, and respond to the needs of the industry and the times. The university emphasized that USR is not only a teaching innovation, but also an important driving force for connecting industry and local communities and practicing sustainable development.